Hi, everybody. If you're joining in from Discord, hello, hello. If you're joining in from Twitch, because it seems we got a couple of viewers over there trickling in as well, hello, hello. Please feel free to chat in either one or not at all if you're not comfortable, but I promise everybody is very chill here. So you are more than welcome to. Yeah, but I guess we can jump right into it, honestly. I mean, if you were here this week, you're going to hear me give the same lowdown again. I'm Babette. I run entry level with a fantastic group of volunteers, some of which are here, one of which is manning all of our streaming stuff because I'm bad at it. So Stacy is in the chat moderating all of that. Thank you very much, Stacy. This stream would not be possible without you or the other volunteers. Mucho appreciated. And more importantly, I am joined by the absolutely lovely Desiree Bragg. She has kind of done it all. Let me grab the actual full list here. But she's still a student, which makes it a lot more cool because when I was a student, I was burning food and eating like hot dogs and mac and cheese. So probably a little bit less exciting. But yeah, Desiree, you go to Oregon State, if I'm correct in that.
Yes. Go.
Okay, great. Great. Okay. So you go to Oregon State, you're in computer science, which is exciting, and an honor computer science, no less, which is very, very awesome. And you've kind of done a bunch of things. You've done engineering internship, you've managed some social media, you are the founder of 𝗧𝗛𝗓𝗦𝗛𝗢𝗡, which is your own kind of thing that I'll let you explain. You're Women Games ambassador. You know, you've kind of done a ton of stuff already. So very busy, but I'll pass it off to you. I'll let you introduce yourself maybe a little bit more thoroughly so that we don't skip anything important.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me to come and talk. I really appreciate you.
A lot of folks are excited to.
So many familiar faces. So nice to see you all. Thank you so much for coming. For those who don't know me, hello everyone. I'm Desiree, and I just kind of want to start by making something really clear. This isn't going to be me just like standing here pretending that I figured everything out for networking. I am a student too, and I'm still learning, experimenting, and getting things wrong, and just like figuring out like what actually works for me. So today I'm just really just starting to like share what I've learned so far, what I've tried, and some things that I've made meeting people just a little bit easier. My hope is to that like take whatever is useful from my experience and then use it to start building something that actually works for you. So I hope that really makes a difference. Just to get started, let's go off to our next tip.
And we're gonna go live on that presentation, Stacy. Sorry, you're all good, Desiree.
Awesome. So first off, let's establish this immediately. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if networking makes you nervous. I'll go first because honestly, same. Actually, giving a workshop about networking actually makes me nervous. So if you're really uncomfortable with networking, you're definitely not alone. I don't think that you have to become the loudest person in the room, magically just become extroverted overnight or anything like that, or suddenly just like walk up to like people. I've definitely had to figure out ways of doing this. Actually, would work with who I am, and that's really what we're going to talk about more about today. All right, so next slide. Yes, networking. So when I hear the word networking, this is basically my reaction. Like this is what when I think of when I hear networking. It just sounds really transactional. Like I'm supposed to like walk into a room, collect a bunch of like contacts, hand out like business cards, like their swag or something, and then like somehow like get something out of like everyone that I meet. And I honestly don't like that. But what I've learned is that networking is just is only transactional if we make it transactional. So once I stop thinking about networking as um you know, it's like a building a network and just like starting to think about it as like just meeting people, getting to know them a little bit, like learn about them, honestly, like just staying connected. It has definitely become a lot more less intimidating when you're just going out there to learn about them instead of like, hey, make this friendship and stuff like that. So that's what I think about networking. So next slide. So question is, so should you network like me? Honestly, probably not. So first off, and that's kind of like one of the point of this entire workshop. I'm going to show you the things that I do, but you should definitely make your own from what you learn. First off, like my goals, like personally, are like boundaries and like resources and like my comfort level might be completely different than yours. Instead, I want you to look at everything today like a toolbox. Um, take something, try it, modify it, throw it out if it doesn't work completely. And fully like by the end, like you have some ideas of what your version of networking may look like. So a little bit about my journey and stuff. Um, give me a thumbs up if you ever had like a awkward interaction with somebody because I definitely have here. My first big in-person industry event was actually GDC. I was in high school. I was a high school student and I had no idea what to expect. Uh, I thought I needed to like meet people and then somehow like know what to say. And then like actually like get in there. And then I realized like, oh, there are thousands of people here and everyone is like moving. And I noticed like everyone had a different goal. So their behaviors were a bit different. And that took a really different approach from how I saw things. A lot of what I do now came from like experiences like that. I ended up having to try things. I noticed that some worked, some definitely did not, and then that's just how I adjusted when I'm trying to figure out these different things. Next one. So one of the ways I started making easier was using LinkedIn. But I didn't like originally think of it as a place where I needed to post constantly or collect connections. Um, it actually became more like my library. Before an event, I uh, I could look up to people. I could learn from like what they have worked on, what they had actually like cared about and what they're even talking about. And even questions I might actually have when I want to see them. That actually meant when I eventually met someone, they weren't completely unfamiliar to me. I already had like some context and which made like starting conversations way more easier. Um, just going to like a stranger like randomly really makes me nervous more than it ever does than someone I know just maybe a little bit about. So that's what makes it easier. And eventually, one message changed a lot for me. Not because I discovered some magical networking template, but because I just reached out. Um, that interaction helped me realize that you don't necessarily need some huge moment to like start building a relationship. Sometimes it's honestly just like one message, one question, or even like one conversation. And I think that part is like why I want to make networking feel smaller today. We tend to imagine this huge thing called building your network, but networks are really built one person and one interaction at a time. So this is your goal today. I want to make meeting people feel less scary, more human, and more intentional. I'm not promising networking will suddenly become comfortable. Um, Still isn't always comfortable for me. But having certain like strategies help. Knowing why like you're somewhere helps. Knowing how you like to engage also helps. And also like knowing that you don't have to do this exactly like everyone else also helps. So like as we go through this, keep asking yourself one question. Would this actually work for me? And of course, one of the biggest things I've learned is that networking happens basically everywhere. It isn't just like conferences and stuff like that. It happens like daily, like on Discord, on LinkedIn, on like virtual events, like schools, like meetups, game jams, volunteering, like you name it. Like there are all types of ways that you can network, or even when you're working with on a project with someone. That honestly like truly matters because maybe like walking around like a huge conference isn't where you're most comfortable. So, and that's totally okay. Like maybe you're really good in like smaller communities or like project environments, but there isn't one correct place to network. Um, Start by finding the environments where you actually feel comfortable with and showing up consistently, which really matters. And we have to acknowledge this. Networking costs something. Conferences can be expensive. Travel is expensive, and even free events cost time and energy. And and as students, myself and others, like those things really matter. So I don't like the advice that assumes like everybody can just attend every conference or like fly somewhere every month. um you have to like work within your resources. That's another reason your strategy shouldn't look like someone else's budget, someone else's like schedule, or like even energy level might be completely different. So instead of asking like, hey, like what is everybody else attending? um I think it's more useful to ask like, what can I realistically access? And then there are actually a lot of ways to get started without spending much money. Just go out there, join a community, attend virtual events, look for some local meetups, make sure you go and volunteer, uh, join a game jam, and you don't have to like do all of those or even those in order. Definitely pick something that makes sense for you. I think sometimes students feel like they're already behind because they like can't afford like a big conference, and like you can start building relationships from wherever you are. The important part is that you're actually participating instead of like waiting until you have access, or like, and you're like waiting for like the perfect opportunity. Don't wait for that perfect time. Go out there anyway. And also, being a student actually gives us some advantages. So definitely still, like I know I definitely do, but definitely still try to go to look for student discounts, scholarships, volunteer passes, some travel support, even calls for like speakers. There's so many opportunities in there, and even research opportunities. Don't automatically like assume something isn't accessible because because of your like sticker price. Like, first look around, ask your school, check your organization, sign up for everything, uh, read application pages, look for like different student programs and organizations. Some of those like opportunities, like we assume we are like completely out of reach, but actually we have pathways specifically designed for students. You just have to like look for them. Yes. And one of my favorite options is volunteering, because you're not walking into a space with networking as your only job. You already have something to do. You're working alongside other volunteers, interacting with attendees, helping organizers, and becoming part of the environment. A lot of events also provide volunteers with free passes, and some opportunities are even paid. So you're gaining experience, meeting people, and helping the community at the same time, which is amazing. So for me, that feels much more natural than just walking into a room thinking, okay, uh, who am I supposed to network with? You know what I mean? So do that. But okay, so really important. Access doesn't mean you owe everyone access to you. So your attention is valuable too, but online especially, like I think we sometimes feel guilt about like meeting somebody, or like unfollowing them, or disconnecting, or even blocking someone. I don't think there should be shame attached to that. um you get to decide like who enters your space. I keep parts of my own online presence private because that's what works for me. Being visible doesn't require like giving everyone unlimited access to you. Protecting your attention is actually part of building a sustainable strategy. This one is probably one of the most important ideas today. So, your strategy should match your goal. If your goal is learning, attending talks, and asking questions, if your goal is meeting people, um, joining conversations and introducing yourself, um, building relationships, follow up, and make sure to stay engaged. Those require different behaviors. Sometimes we copy what someone else is doing without asking why they're doing it. So start with your goal first, then decide what actions actually move toward it. Okay. So let's make that practical. Give me a thumbs up if you can think of one place where you could start showing up. Maybe it's like Discord, or maybe you're already in that community. Maybe it's like a student organization. or maybe it's LinkedIn or a virtual event or even a local meetup. You don't need all of them, just identify one. Consistency in like showing up in like one place can be much more useful than trying to be everywhere. Remember, we're not trying to maximize everything. We're not skill maxing here, so we're just trying to build something that you can actually sustain. One thing that I had to learn is that relationships take time. You probably not going to meet someone once and suddenly know them really well, and that's completely normal. Every interaction gives you a little. Okay, thank you. Like every interaction gives you a little bit more context. You should start talking at an event. Maybe you interact with something they post later. Then you see them again somewhere else, and then over time you start recognizing each other and actually getting to know each other. I think that taking that pressure off makes first interactions easier. Your job isn't to like create an entire relationship in 5 minutes. You're just starting only one. And that's why the best time to start networking is before you need anything. If the first time you ever talk to somebody is when you need an internship or referral, introduction, or favor, the interaction automatically like feels more transactional. So definitely start now. Start talking to people because like you're curious, you want to learn from them, and you want to celebrate them. Like participate in those communities. Then if you eventually like need help, you're suddenly not appearing like out of nowhere, and more importantly, you're already built that actual relationship that aren't just like based on entirely on what somebody can do for you. This one sounds basic, so please make sure to read the room. Definitely manage first. Awareness matters. Boundaries matter. If you're somebody um, is already talking to someone, like don't interrupt and take over like the conversation. If someone looks like they're rushing somewhere, or maybe that's like not the moment to have like a full conversation, like ask questions instead of like making assumptions, like making sure to listen to what someone actually is saying. Think like good networking relies on heavily on basic active listening. Be curious, stay within what you can actually speak to, and give others people space. At conferences, like especially, I usually try to keep interactions pretty short. 5 good minutes can be better than like 20 awkward ones. So make sure to introduce yourself, have a meaningful conversation, ask a question, and then just let that person continue their day. If you want to continue the conversation, um, that's where the follow-up is like for, and it comes up. So being mindful of someone's time can actually leave a better impression than someone trying to squeeze everything into one interaction. You don't have to say everything the first time you meet someone. And please, please, please take breaks. You don't have to like maximize every second of the event. Definitely make sure to drink water, eat, charge your phone, step outside to take a breather, sit somewhere quiet. Conferences like can be really exhausting, especially when you're constantly like around people. Taking care of yourself isn't wasted networking time. Sometimes lunch becomes networking, stepping into like a quieter area leads to a better conversation anyway. You don't get bonus points for exhausting yourselves. Please don't do that. The goal is to leave with meaningful experiences, not prove that you survived 12 hours straight of socializing. Lunch is actually one of those really simple opportunities. Sometimes networking is literal asking, like, mind if I join you? Really, that's it. Like, you don't always have to like meet like amazing introductions or something like that. Like people that are eating, like sitting down, taking a break, like the environment is like already like more relaxed. I've learned that some of the easiest conversations happen when networking isn't like the formal objective. And if you're nervous, like joining one or two people can feel completely different from approaching like a huge group. One. And if the environment itself is overwhelming, like definitely feel free to change the environment. You don't have to have every conversation standing in the middle of like the crowded expo floor. Like ask, like, do you want to find somewhere quieter or something like that? Definitely move to a lounge or grab a table. Get a small group together, and sometimes going from like a huge crowd or two can like definitely change the environment and the area. So this whole section really comes down to making connection manageable. You don't have to talk to everybody. You don't have to stay in every conversation. Um, don't force yourself into environments where you can't actually connect. Definitely find those conditions that make it easier for you to be present. Like maybe it's like a one-on-one, maybe it's even like a small group, maybe it's online first and in person later. And again, we're building your strategy, not trying to copy somebody else's. This was a big mindset shift for me. Instead of walking into something thinking like, what can I get out of this? I tried to think what value I can bring. And value doesn't mean you need to have a job, money, or influence, or years of experience. Students can bring value too. Maybe you share like a resource, or like you introduce two people, or you celebrate somebody's project, like, or maybe you get to volunteer. Sometimes like it's simply being genuinely interested in what someone is doing. I try to give more than I take because relationships feel very different when you're not being transactional. For me, online and in-person networking are equally useful, but I see them as cumulative. I don't really separate them. An online interaction can make an in-person meeting much warmer because you already like recognize each other. Then like after an event like LinkedIn or Discord, like it lets the conversations continue. So I think you need like both ways that they're available to you. The relationship doesn't have to begin and end at the conference. Those like little touch points before and after can turn one 5-minute interaction into something that actually grows later on. No worries. This is where those small online interactions matter. You don't have to message somebody constantly. I pay attention to what people are doing. If they have shared an achievement, I definitely go and celebrate it. If they're working on something interesting, I might ask them about it. I'll send them a happy birthday or a holiday wishes. None of those things are huge, but those little reminders are is an actual thing that people notice. And over time, like those interactions can definitely make the relationship more natural. Before I reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, I usually check their activity, like what they're posting, commenting, reposting. Have they touched their account recently? That kind of gives me a little bit more context of what they're actually using the platform for. Some people post constantly. Some people only comment or only just react and or even use LinkedIn at all. And knowing that really helps the situation when I'm trying to connect with them virtually. If someone hasn't been active for 6 months, I'm probably not going to assume they're ignoring me. They just probably won't respond. And this is something I really want students to remember. No response doesn't mean rejection. People may be busy. They might be a bit overwhelmed, might not use the platform very often, or maybe they simply aren't interested, and that's totally okay too. There are so many possible reasons that have nothing to do with you personally. Just looking at people's activity has definitely helped me stop assuming why someone didn't respond. Uh, I send like a message and I definitely respect the outcome and I just like keep moving afterward. So don't take it personally. There's a lot of pressure online to look successful and have thousands of connections. So definitely post constantly. Make everything public. I still don't do that, but my connection count is relatively small because I value quality over quantity. My my my, my profile is private, so I do take time to engage separately, and that work I found that that works best for me. No, like when you do engage, like please read the stuff that they post. Like I've seen people hit celebrate on posts where that reaction absolutely makes no sense because they clearly didn't read it. Being present matters more to me than appearing active. So quality over quantity. And that also applies to messages too. So nothing tells somebody you didn't pay attention faster than sending something that clearly has nothing to do with like on their profile. I've received a lot of that. Before I reach out, I try to learn something about the person. It doesn't have to be deep research, just casually look at their profile, read it, like look at what they've been working on, check out their activity, then message them after you've done your profile research and you have a reason for reaching out. I'd rather send a fewer like thoughtful messages than like 50 generic ones. So be mindful of that. I've also learned to refine the questions I ask. I usually I'm usually less interested in just asking like what they did or what did they do, or like I want to know how they thought about it, like why did you choose that approach, what changed your mind, what would you do differently. Those kind of mindset questions tend to create much more interesting conversations because you're learning how someone thinks, not just collecting facts that you probably could have found on their profile. And generally, curiosity makes conversations easier now, that I'm not trying to perform. I'm actually trying to learn more about them. One thing I don't outsource is my voice. AI can help with plenty of things, but it can't be mine. building my brand and figuring out how I communicate took time and iteration, and I'm still figuring it all out. I think people can tell when something doesn't sound much like you. So don't take somebody else's post and run it through AI and just reword it and present it as your own. Definitely add to the conversation instead. Share your actual perspective. You don't need to sound like everybody else's. That's kind of bland. So finding your voice is part of your building your strategy. So what I've noticed, like this industry can feel really competitive. You see somebody doing something amazing, and it's very easy to compare yourself and think you're behind. I've been trying to flip that mindset. If I find someone doing something cool, I just found somebody I can just learn from them and like follow them, celebrate their successes and asking how they approached it. Maybe eventually you can like collaborate based on that. Other people's successes doesn't take something away from you. Sometimes the person you're comparing yourself to can actually become one of the people who helps you grow. And you also don't have to do this alone. Definitely find a buddy. If you're a quieter like me, like maybe you have a more outgoing friend who is comfortable making introductions, and you're probably like bringing something that they don't. So maybe like you notice like people they miss. Maybe you create like a stronger one-on-one connections, or you can even introduce each other to different circles. Networking doesn't have to be about getting yourself into rooms. You can definitely help each other out. Um, just finding people where people are. That's like one of the easiest ways to start building actual community. Another part of growing is learning how to receive feedback. Networking means meeting people with different experiences, perspectives, and ways of doing things. You're definitely going to hear advice you agree with, advice you don't, and sometimes feedback that's uncomfortable. And I've had to learn to listen first, ask questions when I don't understand something, and then decide on what I can actually apply. You don't have to take every piece of advice you're giving, um, but definitely be gracious and curious, which definitely keeps you open to learning instead of immediately assuming you already know something. Yeah. Great. So let me try to. Let me get a quick water break.
You guys too, everyone else, drink water. It's a million degrees in most places right now. Drink your water.
It's so hot. It's like more than 100 degrees, and like I'm dying. It's coffee. I was tempted to drink coffee, but like I was scared that it would like dehydrate me more. So I was just like, stay with water. Sorry about that. It definitely needs to be fall soon. So before we wrap up, I'm going to give you one tiny challenge. Pick one thing to try this week. Maybe it's like introducing yourself to someone, joining a new space, celebrating someone's work. Ask one thoughtful question, or find some way to like help or connect somebody else. Um, Give me a thumbs up when you've picked yours, and that's totally it. Like you don't need to suddenly become amazing at networking, try definitely one thing and pay attention to how it feels and how it happens and just adjust. Oh, sorry, it was the wrong slide. So that's basically how I built my strategy and small experiences over time. So that's it. So now the change. So here's the right slide. And this is where we've kind of ended up. We explored like where opportunities exist. We talked about like connecting in ways that actually feel manageable, looking at building relationships intentionally, growing alongside other people, and finally reflecting on what works for us. But this isn't really the end of the map. This is where your version starts first. Take what is useful today, leave what wasn't, and keep adjusting and iterating as you learn more about yourself. You don't need my networking strategy. Hopefully, you know now a few more tools to start building your own. And that is the last slide. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and letting me share about what I've been figuring out. I hope that this has made networking feel a little less scary and a little bit more human. I'm still learning too, and so I'm sure like my own strategy will keep changing as I do. If you definitely want to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. But for now, I want to open this up to you. Any questions you have, or if there's something you've tried that works really well for you, I'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a good presentation.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad the Discord's back too. So folks, if you didn't know, you can ask questions now.
Yay!
We're back.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, it's
It just
stuck.
suddenly went dead, and she was like, "Give us a thumbs up," and I'm like, "Thank you." Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Ask any questions, and we'll ping them. One person asked any advice on what to use as an opener for LinkedIn DMs. If you want to start there.
Yeah. I'm sorry if this was already answered, but any advice what to use as an opener for LinkedIn DMs? Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend like when you're looking to reach out to someone, read their profile, see what they're all about, learn from them. Not just as I mentioned, like not just like seeing like what they do. Like obviously you can see like what they are doing or what projects that they're working on. Definitely try to be intentional of what you're trying to ask or reach out to them for. Usually when I'm reaching out to new connections on LinkedIn, I'm like, hey, I saw that you're working on this really cool project. I really look forward to learning more about it or just learning more about you and stuff like that. And definitely just share like who you are. Don't be like a rando with like no objective. Hope that helps.
Truly, truly. Also, keep in mind some people have like weird like LinkedIn messaging stuff set up, so you might not be able to reach out to them directly. In which case, sometimes commenting on the post that attracted you to that person and just being like, oh, like this is really cool. I'd love to connect over it is a great way, especially since LinkedIn charges for adding notes to connect messages.
More. Yeah, definitely try to engage with them everywhere else, not just one specifically that you find something really interesting, but yeah. All right. are there any online communities or groups that you would personally recommend to start networking in? Yeah, of course. So, first off, of course, like entry level, duh.
This one, clearly. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, yes, definitely. Another great community, like definitely still like try to do your research, but there's 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 community as well. There's IGA, IGDA as well. Thinking of some other ones. Definitely still go and look for your interests and based on that community. Yeah, of course. For example, like for me, I'm in serious games, so I'm definitely in all those types of like communities. We were like educational type of games, serious games, but that works for me. So find what you kind of resemble as far as like what kind of genre of games you want to make, or find what those interests and try to tie it into the community you actually want to be in.
Yeah, I mean that's solid advice. Serious games is a great one. We love serious. Yeah, serious games. Cave Bear Games is another fantastic. If you guys are looking to like actually make the games themselves, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really is every single niche. I know like LA, like SoCal has a ton of its own like specific ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Toronto's got its own as well. Like truly, if you go looking, it will be there.
Yeah.
And like students, right? Like
Yeah.
there's probably a chapter in your uni, right?
Definitely finding the communities that you're like already a part of, expanding that, and also student organizations too. Like I have so many different ones, and even find ones that are local as well.
Yeah. I mean, the more local you get to, the easier it is to kind of talk to people too, without it being a little maybe more stressful. But
yeah, it's called.
That's me personally. It's different. Oh, it's called Is it Serious Games or Serious Point?
Serious Games.
Okay, ignore me fully then. Let me just delete that so nobody gets confused. Serious Point is also a great resource if you folks are interested, but not what Desiree is talking about. Serious Games is the one. Yeah. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to ask. I'm curious, how do you, as a student, just because I did get the opportunity to really do it when I was a student, like how do you find networking in a place where ageism in the industry is still very much a thing? Like I would say it's on the younger side of like, oh, you're not qualified yet because you don't have a degree yet. How do you kind of tackle that?
I think I just go like again, like changing the mindset. I definitely make the investment. Like, yes, it is definitely time consuming, and trust me, like I am a second year senior. So I'm technically like a sophomore because I'm an early admit, but I'm a senior. So I definitely like never like ever belong. So I've kind of like learned to kind of just deal with that and just deal with that feeling of just like, hey, well, I don't really fit in, but here I am. But anyway, I just still try to put in the time, putting in the time, and something that I find my peers do not, is what I usually notice. And that definitely takes that sacrifice.
For sure. Yeah.
On like deciding to make those decisions of trying to level up.
Yeah, no, I mean truly, it definitely requires a discipline, I imagine, as a student, for sure. Folks, if there are any students in the chat, like sooner rather than later, you don't have to have a polished finished thing. The fact that you're getting started in whatever you're doing is important for sure. I think we've got
Yeah.
somebody. Oh, yeah.
Let me know some more questions. Don't be shy.
My congratulations on graduating.
Technically not a student anymore as I graduated back in May, but I have applied to more studies this fall. I've signed up as far as support staff for Gamescom. Oh, awesome. I've volunteered at events before, but there is some specific strategy specifically for games events that I could keep in mind. Like, should I try to attend as many activities as possible, listen to talks? I don't know what strategy. Yeah, definitely.
Good question.
Just getting a schedule and trying to map out everything that you're going to do. I honestly find myself trying to attend all of the things, and I don't actually attend all the things. So trying to find your focus on what you're trying to actually attend. Like for me, it's obviously like serious games, so I try to narrow it down to only serious games if I do happen to take that approach. You know, I'm like constantly like I'm doing my homework and I have like millions of tabs and windows open. So like definitely like socializing is like kind of like my mental breaks in between. Definitely take the goal approach. Sometimes I don't even listen to my own advice. So pretty cool out there. But yeah, definitely taking it one step at a time can really help. It's definitely a whole struggle. So stick with it and stay consistent.
Yeah, congrats on graduating too.
Yeah. I'm still a student and I'm told to have lots of portfolio projects for internships and future job searching. However, I have a hard time finding passion for projects. Do you have any advice for finding that spark? Yes, that's a good one.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
I definitely think that like aside from like getting inspiration from like other people, like still try to make something, um and still try to attend like game jams and hackathons and stuff like that. Like I I have so many. Like literally you can like go on itch.io and like
yeah,
there's something
yeah, the
every
classic.
day.
Yep.
Every single day. Like literally you can even filter like the games that you have on itch, and basically like I just go on there and look for a tutorial, like try
Yeah.
to load something that's like in engine and try to remaster or like rework it in a different way that you would. Like if it's for like an RPG or like a shooter or something like that, like you can still use those same mechanics, but try to like spark it up a little bit and then try to make it like a little bit more of your own. And definitely watch others on how they're working on it. Definitely go and chat with other people that have the same interests. Maybe you can contribute to something really cool on that and stuff. So
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Game jams are a great way to meet. A great way to network too. A lot of folks meet people that they collaborate with later down the line as well through game jams.
Yeah, you definitely don't even have to like connect with someone right away to be like, oh, let's collab. Like you could just like learn more about them, see more about their projects, and then try to reach out. Like, hey, like I know we have like a lot of the similar interests. Like, you want to collab on this game jam or something? Like, just yeah, just. And sometimes like you don't even need a team. Like just getting thrown out there. Work with whoever, learn about learn about them like there. I've met like the most like amazing people, like just randomly. So that's like the best way.
I mean, it's so word of mouth, right? Like, I don't know. We're speaking like face to face for the first time properly today, and that was just through somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody kind of thing and reaching out. So it truly is. It truly is just a chain of everything, for sure.
Yeah,
But that's a really good, yeah.
I think of like networking as more like a family tree, but like
Yeah.
with friends and stuff. So it's like when you know like one person really well, you get to know like their friends, and then you just become like a really big group of like people who do like all the same things, or it doesn't even have to be related to like what you're doing. Like just getting to know people, and just know people and learn from them can really help and pivot in other different ways. So that's honestly like how I have like a conference fam. Like we just kind of just like go around. So
that's great though, because you know a couple people, you know, like wherever you go, you'll know a couple people as well, which is a nice kind of padding almost, I guess.
Yeah, they like most likely have been to like that conference like more than me, so they like know a little bit more about what's going on and stuff like that in events, even outside events that's going on and stuff. So
oh, nice.
just, like,
yeah,
bringing on people and adding, and then people bring people. So
it truly it starts with like a group of 3 and it turns into a group of 50 faster than you realize. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, for especially I imagine like in Canada it's a little bit smaller, but I imagine these like big events like GDC and stuff are a lot more difficult to find people, and you know, this and this and this kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of like outside events aside from like the 3 buildings, which makes it really difficult. But
oh, okay, yeah,
we definitely like walk in like a whole mob.
That's fun though, because then you have like a posse.
Yeah,
which is like an extra flex. Yeah, exactly.
Just like walk in like an army and just
exactly
do fun stuff.
Yeah, no, honestly, and like if you're solo, folks, like it's very easy to find a group who are also just as lost as you. Like there's like a 50-50 chance that person is also scared and hasn't networked before, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely okay.
If
you definitely like see me somewhere, like definitely come and hang out. I'm probably lost myself still, so
yeah, if you're going to BlizzCon, say hi to Desiree. I think that's your next, yeah?
Yes.
There you go. So there's one right there. If you see us folks as well, we're kind of everywhere, but if you see one of us, please feel free to say hi. We're very approachable. Most people in the industry are very approachable. Yeah. Everyone's kind of just looking to geek out about stuff, so it's yeah, truly.
DM me if you are going. I would love to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm jealous. It sounds like a riot. It sounds like a great time. So, yeah, you'll have. I'm waiting for the post about it after. Yeah, exactly. But speaking of which, we are going to drop Desiree's links because she has methods of contact or methods of keeping up with what she's doing and what she's talking about that aren't corporate LinkedIn. And that's Blue Sky primarily. So if you guys are on Blue Sky, we recommend it. We're also on Blue Sky. Come say hi to us. Connect with Desiree. You can obviously send a connection request there, or just, follow her and see all the cool things she's doing. She's definitely an absolute powerhouse of a voice in the industry. And all of us at Entry Level are very proud and excited, I guess, to see folks who are still in school already taking such strong initiative in the space and having like such, not good takes, that's such a weird way of putting it, but like such knowledgeable like perspectives and aspects, I think is like crazy important. And I'm really glad that you and other people are making your voices so loud so that people, even if they wanted to ignore it, they can't. They have to listen to the fact that that group of game devs and that group of people are there, and they're the next space in the industry. We need loud voices like that. So thank you so much for taking the time to make an adorable presentation, first of all, but also to chat with us and share and answer all of your stuff. If you're just dropping in, folks, or you're kind of on your way out, we do keep the recording and we will post it up, so please don't worry about that. However, if you do clip me, I have the right to ban you, and Desiree's the same. If we see any sort of screenshot that makes either of us look goofy, permaban. But I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for dropping in. And thank you so much again, Desiree, for all of your fantastic takes on networking. And we are going to hold all of you to that challenge. You have to do it.
Thank you so much. You are all wonderful. Again, thanks for having me. I love you so much.
Likewise. And hopefully you have a great time at your conferences. And we'd love to have you on again, and hopefully soon. So yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Sweet. Have a great rest of the evening, everybody. Thank you again, Desiree. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys around. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
You.
I'm not.
Bye.
Bye.